For our next panel of witnesses, we have with us from the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, Diane Bergeron, who's the National Director of Government Relations and Advocacy, and from People First of Ontario, Kory Earle is the president of that organization. Do you both have opening statements? And Ms. Bergeron, would you like to lead off?
Sure, thank you. I just want to explain how I'm using this machine, so if I stutter, you know why. I have my presentation on the computer, and I'm just going to have it read to me auditorily in my ear, and I will repeat what it's saying. So if the computer stutters, that means I stutter. So I apologize in advance. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you as well to the other committee members for this opportunity to offer testimony on behalf of CNIB today. CNIB, otherwise known as the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, is a registered charity that has been delivering vital services to individuals with vision loss for nearly 100 years. We are proud to provide community-based support, knowledge, and a national voice to ensure that Canadians who are blind or partially sighted have the confidence, skills, and opportunities to fully participate in life. Whether a person is living with vision loss like blindness or not, voting is a fundamental aspect of participation in a democracy. However, the ability of Canadians who are blind or partially sighted to exercise their right to vote depends heavily on the way elections are designed and conducted. CNIB is pleased to see that accessibility is being raised as an issue for consideration in Bill C-23, and we appreciate the opportunity to offer feedback on how this bill might affect voters with vision loss. Canadians not only have a right to vote, but a right to vote in secret. The right to a secret ballot includes the right to mark one's ballot in private with no one else knowing for whom I'm voting. Voters in Canada also have the right to verify their choice to verify their choice to make sure that their ballot was marked in accordance with the voters' wishes and was not spoiled. Unfortunately, the right to a secret ballot is regularly denied to voters with vision loss in Canada. There are two primary means currently used to accommodate voters with vision loss. Firstly, election acts at all levels provide for registered voters to appoint a designate or an elected official to assist in the marking of a ballot based on the voter's instruction. However, this approach does not respect the right to a secret ballot. Voters who are blind or partially sighted must tell someone else, possibly a total stranger, for whom they wish to vote. The voter must trust that that person will mark their ballot in accordance with their wishes, to not intentionally or accidentally spoil the ballot, and to keep their choice forever secret. Alternatively, many Elections Act, including the Canada Elections Act, require that a template be provided to electors who are blind or partially sighted to assist them to mark their ballot. Unfortunately, this template also does not provide a full and effective accommodation of the right to a secret ballot. Unless they were to show the ballot to another person, voters with vision loss cannot check to be sure that their choice was correctly recorded on the ballot or that they did not accidentally spoil their ballot. The inability of voters with vision loss to exercise their right to a secret ballot is a significant concern to CNIB. Although we are extremely pleased to see the issue being brought forward through Bill C-23, we believe there are opportunities to strengthen the legislation, particularly around accessible voting. The ability for the Chief Electoral Officer to test alternative voting practices has been in place since the Canada Elections Act was amended in 2000. To the best of our knowledge, this type of testing has been extremely limited and has not yet opened new opportunities for voters with vision loss to exercise their rights. Bill C-23 would amend the Canada Elections Act to require that the Chief Electoral Officer obtain the prior approval of the Senate and the House of Commons before testing an alternative electronic voting process in an official vote. Considering that this Chief Electoral Officer has not exercised the power to test alternative voting processes in the 14 years that it has been available, we fear that this approval process will place more of a burden on the Chief Electoral Officer, and we believe that it is unlikely that this situation will change. As an alternative to what is being proposed in Bill C-23, CNIB recommends that the Chief Electoral Officer be required to test alternative electronic voting processes in a future general or by-election, not merely providing permission to do so. We have met with the Minister and expressed our thoughts on strengthening the legislation to ensure that testing of alternative voting processes, such as voting by phone, internet, or other accessible electronic means, is required moving forward. Without directing the Chief Electoral Officer to test alternative electronic voting processes, we fear that further decades may pass where voters who are blind or partially sighted are denied their right to a secret ballot in federal elections. Thank you very much for listening today, and I look forward to your questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Earle?
Thank you, and let me just take this opportunity to thank the chair and the committee for allowing me to have the opportunity this afternoon to speak, and it's delayed to be back with Diane, who I think the rumor gets out there, they're going to think we're having an affair, because this is the second committee we've spoken. Although I think it's on TV now, that's not happening. I see the mood in here earlier, so I just have to light something up. It really, truly is my honor to talk about from our angle, but to talk a lot more about the literacy and the invisible disabilities that are ignored in this act that people are facing each day. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Minister, Pierre, and P. Scott Reid for having the opportunity to meet with us this past year to talk about this act and how important it is to our members, not just local, province, and indeed this country. We do support some of this act. Not many acts we can turn around and say we do support. We do support some of this act with great deal. However, I didn't use that word but, because however, there is some of this act that we're finding does need to be straightened, and in fact will improve people's lives as Canadians and certainly right across Canada. When this law is passed, there should be more added with people with literacy problems. 42% in this country face literacy. That's a huge number. That number is shameful to acknowledge. 42%. That's not going to get people with disabilities out to vote when they find it difficult on the ballots. So there's a couple things that I will be suggesting to this committee, and I really ask that you take that into huge consideration, because it's not me sitting up here and banging heads. It's thousands of people that have called upon changes. Quebec made a resolution to our national board just last year, and one of the biggest things that our members have passed, I couldn't have agreed with it anymore, is we're proposing that at advanced polls on election day, that you have a picture and logo and party on the ballot, or even at the election, or even at the voting station. That, believe it or not, will help many people with disabilities, because when they come with visual, etc., that actually will help. And when Quebec brought the resolution forward, they said it's done there, and it actually increases people to come out and vote on who they want. Again, I'm not suggesting that it necessarily be on the ballot, but at least have it there, an opportunity. Diane has raised just last week and this week, and since then, Constitution about the secret ballots. Look, as a democratic society, people have a right to vote, but people should also have a neutral person that they know that will vote for who they selected, and not have someone that is, my twin is one of them, that would be very cautious of that. Well, how do I know that person voted for what I did? Maybe I want to vote for the marijuana party. Not that I'm suggesting that, but because there's all kinds of parties here. but that's a possibility, and he may not know. So we're really asking that really be changed. The action also needed. We must ensure that vouching continues in this country. Not many people have ID. You know, yes, Ontario may have a photo ID. New Brunswick may not have that photo ID is what Ontario does. That's actually going to eliminate people. And in fact, you're going to see the numbers go down from voting and not increase. Certainly our members have indicated that very clearly. Vouching is a huge issue. As a democratic society, people have the right to vote. Yet we are saying that the government will create barriers for many people in this country. This is wrong, and it must immediately change to ensure people can have the opportunity to vote without feeling that they're facing barriers in this in the country. One thing that should also be addressed is that anxiety. Anxiety is amongst huge. People that go to the vote, that go to the polling stations, sometimes leave because there is way too many people and feel isolated. I know that my twin brother is one of them. So by supporting people when they come in, having a small area, so people like my twin brother can vote, but not vote in a larger crowd. The ballots must be clear, with better font, so many people with disabilities can see it and understand. We have heard from Elections Canada that there is campaigns that go on to address many things to encourage people to vote. I don't see particularly a whole lot of that's gone on, only from meeting with Elections Canada and Pierre. I still think something should be enforced to ensure people how accessible the voting stations are and what is out there. That needs to be enforced, not ask people to do. Enforcement will have a better impact. As many of who I represent don't know what is going on at Elections Canada, especially when it's time to vote. We have come a long way as Canadians. However, it is our hope that we won't go backwards. So I ask that you please consider these changes that will improve many lives. We are pleased to see the extra advanced polling days, etc. in this act. We know that we can work together in the best interest of all people. I'd be more than happy, cautionally, more than happy to take any questions they may have. And again, it's my delight and humble to address any kind of questions that you may have raised. So thank you for that.
Okay, well, thank you very much.